Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. Today we're going to be working on my 1997 BMW Z3 with 2.8-liter. It is squeaking, making some funky noises, and I do believe it's the idler pulleys. I actually replaced the water pump a while back because I thought it was that was causing it, but it's not. After I put it all back together, it was still squeaking. I'm like, duh. And I checked them. They seemed okay, but they weren't tight like they should have been. I mean, they didn't have any play or anything, but they're noisy. So I'm going to go ahead and replace them before they cause a problem. And since I've been in here before, it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to walk you through it, and that way you can know what to do as well. I'm a little under the weather. I've been down all week with a cold or flu, I don't know which. So if I hack and cough a little bit, maybe sniffle, I do apologize, but we're going to try to get through this day. After this video, I'm going to be making one on doing the transmission filter, because this car is getting right around 100,000. She's at 95 or 96 now. So I'm going to go ahead and get her done. It's supposed to do a transmission service at 100. So the next video after this one on this car will be a transmission service. So stay tuned for that one as well. If you're a Z3 lover like I am, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and start this old girl because I want you to hear the squeak before we start getting into it, so you kind of know what I'm listening to. It's pretty annoying. Now the funny thing is after she warms up, the squeak starts to go away. But it's lately I've noticed the squeak is still staying in here, and so it's definitely time to change it over. But I'm going to let you listen to it so you can kind of hear the annoying noise that I'm talking about. Can you hear that rattling noise? Let me bring you in a little closer. As you could probably tell, you can't see much when you're trying to look into this engine. And they just put stuff like this there for like absolutely no reason whatsoever. It's just to cover stuff up, I reckon. It even makes it a little more difficult to change the oil. Not much, but I mean, it's just a little bit in the way, and it has, as far as I can tell, has no purpose. But I don't know the way they do things nowadays. I'm talking to a guy who put Hemi valve covers on a small block Chevy, so I guess I shouldn't talk. Anyway, take these two little clips off. Oh, and if you want to see that video where I do that, look up my Gremlin build on my channel, and you'll see where I turned a small block Chevy into a Hemi. At least it looked that way. But these got two 10mm bolts here, and these two little clips here. Because this big, goofy looking thing, which I have been tempted to take out of here and put in a fresh air system, which, you know, people are like, why are you hacking up that nice car? The reason is I was just recently was watching a video, and the thing added like, I don't know, 5 or 6 horsepower. Just putting a cold air system. Now this does have a little air duct in it to bring fresh air from the front of the car, but that hole is still there. So if I put a fresh air system in here, it would still come in and feed my engine, and this thing looks really restrictive if you ask me. But anyway, get that air box out of the way. That's your biggest obstruction. And look, you can see stuff. Woohoo! Now this upper radiator hose is not making things very accessible, but here's the skinny. This car is extremely difficult to burp, if you know what I mean by burping. If you don't know what I mean by burping, it is trying to get the air bubbles out of the cooling system. So, killing mosquitoes. You really don't want to remove this hose if you don't have to. When I did the water pump, of course, that's quite a bit lower. And this has got some coolant in it. You don't really want to mess with that if you don't have to. Now, there's plenty of. I may end up doing that just for ease of access, but and because I really can't give you a good picture of what's going on in here without doing that. I really don't want to be honest with you, but I don't think you're going to get a good video without it. So I'm going to cause myself some grief and take this hose off just so you can see. Yeah. The reason I'm saying that is because see the radiator is higher than the actual where it goes, and so what that does is it makes it, this doesn't want to burp out. So the now Porsches are even worse. Not that I'm a big Porsche guy. I love Porsches, but I don't have one. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take that off just so you can see what's going on. Here is the top pulley. And the thing that confused me the most the first time I did this is they have these little plastic covers on them, which I think are ridiculous. You just pop them off. I don't know. I don't really know why they're there, to be honest with you. This one has one too down here. You just get a little screwdriver or something and just pop it off of there. This one's a little harder. It's harder to get to, but we're getting in there. The fans give me a hard time trying to get this out of here. There it is. That one's on the floor now, though, but that's okay. As long as it's off. Now, it's fixing to get a lot louder in here. And this radiator hose is making a lot of mess. Like you'll notice, you probably didn't notice, but I got it pinched up real high, so I don't lose a whole lot of fluid. But there's still fluid everywhere, and it's making everything slippery. But oh my! I see something that's not so good. But, oh no, never mind. Anyhow, this is our culprit right here, and this is a bolt that goes all the way through here. Okay, once I get that one off, we're going to go for the one on the bottom, and I'll show you what to do on that. It becomes a bit of a yeehaw, but not impossible. This is what they call eccentric, concentric. It's not round in the middle. It's actually offset. And that's how you set your tension. But yet there's a tensioner down there, so I don't really understand why they did that. But they did. So let's see what size this is. Okay, it is 16 millimeters. And it's just a regular bolt. And you'll see when I can't really tell now, but when I get it off, you'll see that you can actually tension the belt with this. But yet it's not a belt tension, which I think is really, really weird. So I'm going to go ahead and I think that is, you're going to have to use your finger eyeballs for the one on the bottom, because you can't see it from here. This one's nice and easy. Of course, you've got a bolt this long, and it's going to hit the radiator probably before it's out of there. So that's wonderful. So we're going to have some obstacles that we're going to have. I don't really understand that. How am I supposed to get that bolt out? It might be one of those just barely kind of do things. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, wait, that fan is holding my radiator hose up there. Here, come on, get over there. Okay, good. Okay, stay there. Don't move. Alright. So we're going to let that one be for a minute. I'm going to try to get one on the bottom. It feels like maybe it's 12 or 13 mil, so we're going to try that. This one is also 16 millimeters. You wouldn't think so when you look at it from up here, but it is. And this is a tensioner, so I'm going a long way. So we want to untension it. I think we got to go counterclockwise. Yep. Okay, so to loosen the belt, you got to go clockwise, and then that will loosen the belt so you can take it off. Hard on your little hand. Should have probably left that one tight because it made it more difficult to get this done. But there we go. Now I got the belt off. I can let this go. Now there's no tension. Well, Shouldn't be any tension on that by now. Let me try that one more time. I apologize if my shoulder is in the way on this one. Just going to do this. I guess we got to get it off to the side. Take it right off of it. Like, here. Get off. It wants to hang up on the alternator. But there we go. Boy, that bug's tight. But, yep, just look, I'm off the alternator. And I'm still wrestling with it. There we go. Now we got no tension on it. You really want to try to keep everything on the pulleys as much as possible. Just because, I'm telling you, that alternator pushed out. This bugger can be a pain in the butt. Alright. I'm going to take this one out, which I'm having my doubts whether she's going to be. I'm going to have enough room to get her out with you. Oop, I'm tightening it. There we go. I'm a little nervous. I just don't think I got enough room before I hit the radiator to get this bolt out of here. We're hoping. Otherwise, we're probably going to have to take the alternator loose. And that whole bracket system, which just looks like a complete nightmare. So let's hope this BMW is going to be ridiculous, or we're going to be able to do this. So I don't know that. I think they're still going. Holy Moses in there. Come on, baby. I'm hitting the fan, but that's okay. We can move the fan. Looks like we might make it. Come on. Hey, we made it. BMW is not as stupid as we were trying to give him credit for. Alright. See that? When I took this apart last time, you don't hear anything. Right? That sounds fine. So I don't really. I do believe they gave me the wrong part now that I'm looking at it. Yay. Let me go look at the parts. I think they gave me the wrong part for that one. Now what I didn't show you, because my arm was going to be in the way, is I've got a drill bit right here on the tensioner. And the reason I'm doing that is because I need to lock the tensioner out in order to get this pulley off of here. Okay? You don't want to have to fool around with getting the whole tensioner off when you can just take this pulley off, but you've got to lock it out or you're not going to be able to get in there. And what I've done now is I've moved my fan so I can't get in. Here we go. So now I've got that on there. Now we just got to crack it loose. But if you don't lock out that tensioner, you'll be fighting spring the whole time, and that won't be so good. Now I've just discovered. Oh, wow, that was easy. Wow, okay. Oh no, it's just the. Yeah, I guess I'm loose. Oh, okay. Oh, now don't tell me there's a bolt on the backside. That would be just absolutely not cool. But I think that is the case. No, it doesn't look like it. It's not on the bolt. It just wants to slide off the bolt real easy. That's weird. Okay. So I guess I gotta get my hand in here and there we go. Okay. Weird. It just felt like the bolt came loose, but it didn't. So, you know, I know it's a great view of my arm. Sorry about that. I just don't have any way to get the camera in here without my arms getting in the way. But I'll show you where I'm at. Of course, my finger is now pinched between the fan and the bolt. That's awesome. There we go. This one's really sloppy, so I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, this might have been our culprit. But we're going to change them both anyway, I think, because they sent me the wrong part for the other one. So I'm going to have to see if I can get that remedied. Okay, now my ratchet's stuck on there. Okay. They didn't give you a whole lot of room in here. Let me tell you that story. I think I know what's going on. Alright, here it is. Okay. Now there's my tensioner pulley. And again, doesn't make any noise. just spinning it like this. But that one is a little bit more noisy than the other one. This one, they gave me the right part. The other one, I'll show you here in a second. This one is the wrong one. This is what I need. See how it's concentric? Or eccentric? Eccentric, right? This is just round. And when I read the box, it says idler pulley. This is indeed an idler pulley, but it's got a concentric doodad on it. Now I was thinking, well, maybe somehow this fits into here, but nope. And it's different size. So we got the wrong parts. You know that Chinese guy, Something Wong? Now this isn't horrible. And I'm guessing because of this, it's going to be $6 million. Great. But I'm going to get back on the phone, see if I get the right part coming. I hate coming back days or weeks later. It's actually been weeks because I went to 2 different shows and I had to order the part, so it's actually like 2 weeks later. And I hate coming back 2 weeks later because you got to try to remember where you left off. And I finally got the right parts. I actually ended up getting them through Parts Geek online, which, you know, is the name of what the heck is this? What is going on here? This car's got all sorts of weird things going on here. But anyway, that's coming off the alternator? How weird is that? Whatever. Anyhow, there's like a air thingy coming off the alternator, I guess, to try to cool it. Cool, I guess. Anyhow, but I've got the right part finally. Now, if you look, you'll see there's a little nub right here. See that little nub? There's a little spot right here in the corner of where it goes, and that is where that nub has to go. Fortunately, I don't have any tension on this belt right now, so it's not going to be very difficult. And I'm just going to go ahead and it runs off the back of the come on, baby. It's got to catch on the fan a little bit. That's okay. There we go. Okay. So we want to make sure you get this in the right spot. Come on, baby. Come on. It's a little bit awkward. Come on. There it is. Then you just kind of stick this thing in there. I'll get a ratchet on in a couple of seconds as soon as I get this started. And it'll be easier to hold it staying on its own. Woohoo! Can you imagine that? Now, I don't know if I could get my... I don't remember if I can get my ratchet in there or not. We'll try it. I'm a firm believer in electric. It used to be pneumatics. Now it's electric. Now remember, I've got this drill in here. I've got my little flashlight here, kind of in the way. There we go. Well, that worked out okay. So that one was easy. Alright, and we're going to leave my little drill in here for the moment. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the other pulley in, and then when we go to put the belt back on, this little cooler for the alternator is weird. You know, it's just kind of in the way though, and it's getting hit by the belt. So I don't know if I don't want to damage the belt. Kind of overkill, but maybe that alternator needs cooling. I don't know. This pulley is a little weird. The bolt recesses down inside, so you can't get in there with your fingers to get that baby to start. So I'm going to put it on the end of my ratchet and kind of try to put it in place that way. And the fan is not going to let me do that. Yay, okay. So what we're going to have to do is put the socket on it like so, put it into place, and try to turn the socket by hand. Which really wasn't that big a deal. I thought it was going to be much harder. And I'm going to have to use a hand ratchet because I'm not going to be able to get that big pneumatic one in there. The fan is not cooperating today. There we go. I dropped my ratchet and it did not fall all the way, so that was good. And back in there. Let me back in the saddle again. Come on, baby. There we go. There is not a ton of room in this car. That is the truth. The fan is like right up against where your hand's going to be. It's not user friendly. But if you're a bigger guy or a bigger woman that has larger hands and or arms than I do, this might prove to be a little bit challenging. And I'm just going to give that. Okay. The good thing about that particular, that's the tensioner belt. The good thing about the tensioner belt is when I go to tighten the belt, when I go to put the belt on, I'm going to tighten that even more. But right now, if I go to tighten it, it's going to hit that. It's going to hit that drill that I put in there. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. The drill that I put in there, and it's going to help you to tighten that bolt up. Once you get that upper pulley in, get all your belt lined up and everything, go ahead and take the tension off that dowel and or, in my case, a drill bit, and then let that baby go. Your belt should be tight. Then you got to turn your fan so you can get your wrench out of there. Now, here's the fun part. Well, actually, no, the belt is the fun part because you're going to make sure everything's right. The back of this, see, this is smooth, no groove, so the back of the belt goes on that. And the other one is also smooth, so you got to make sure the back of the belt is on that. Now I have my hose being held in by the fan, so we have to make sure we get that out of the way before we fire this baby up. And then we're just going to put this on here. I didn't lose a whole lot of fluid, and I still have a full can of fluid on the other side. You know, the catch can, whatever you want to call it. So I should have plenty of fluid in there, hopefully not. I didn't get any air in the system. If I did, very little. We'll know when we warm this baby up if she starts getting hot on me. I went ahead and zip tied that little tube that cools the alternator, because was hitting the belt, which is never a good thing. And then I'm going to fire it up without the air box so I can see what's going on. So let me clean up my little mess around here, all my tools, and then we'll fire it up and see if we did a good job. Oops, I did forget one thing, this little cover. Now I know it seems kind of stupid, and if you leave it out, it's not that big a deal. But the reason that they have this cover is because, remember I showed you how, let me get the old one. Remember how I showed you this is recessed and the bolt fits down in here? What this does is it covers it so that the dirt doesn't get in there and make it so you can't get that bolt out at a later date. And of course now I can't get the cover off because I snapped it on there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this thing back on. It literally just pops on. You just saw me do it. I just popped it on. And, gosh, now I can't get it off. Crying out loud. There it goes. And that's just to keep dirt out of it. If you have too much trouble with it, you don't have to put it back in. But I'm going to go ahead and put it back in just because if I have to mess with this again. I plan on keeping this car for quite a while. So I'm going to just go ahead and pop it on. Everything appears to be working as it's supposed to. And I don't hear no funky noises. Now, neither one of these pulleys is horrible. But if you listen to this one, can you hear that? Hear that rattly sound? When you got pressure on it, that's pretty loud. Oh, sure, just let me throw it away. Now this one probably wasn't too bad. But while you're in there, you might as well do them both. Last but not least, we want to put in our air box. Now this thing is funky. It's got this weird little offshoot here that does nothing. It just makes everything else, it just hides like the big hole that we have in here. Personally, I think I may at some point put a K&N. You know what? Hang on a second. You know what? This doesn't have a mass airflow sensor or nothing. Wait, just wait. I think I might have an alternative. Well, I don't. I thought I did, but this has a cold air little doohickey right here that goes to the front of the car, and this it kind of goes into towards the front, and then you got to finagle this bad boy in here. There's wiring and everything else in the way. You got to kind of finagle it in here. There we go. And see this thing here. Let me get a little bit better view here. This thing does nothing. It's just there. It's crazy. But go ahead and put this all together. I could put a cold air system. I thought I might have had one laying around, but I did not. So let's just go ahead and snap this into place. Come on, baby. There we go. Yeah, this just hides stuff. I really don't know why that's there. It just covers up the alternator, I guess, to make it look more complicated than it is. When you change the oil, it makes it a little harder to get to the oil canister, but not impossible. This is a completely useless thing. But anyway, we've got these two bolts that go here. Trying to get them lined up here. Come on, baby, where do you go? There it is. And there's one here. So you got these two little snaps, and then you got these two bolts. There we go. Where, oh, where is the hole for this? Where, oh, where can it be? Actually, nope, that's not it. There we go. Once you get that caught, you can take your 10 milli socket, stick it on the end of your rachette. Your rachet. And I'm going to need an extension. That ain't going to happen. This one might be a little overkill. That is the end of the story. Guess that's going to be it. We're just going to pull her on out of here and take it for a little quickie test drive. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you out, please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends. Yeah, that works. See ya.